Yeah, I think there are some people.
That can sort of intermediate between what we do at our level
Mhm.
and then what people can understand at their level. And I think
Yep.
that's really valuable. It's sort of the 0% of the science budget that kind of
Yeah,
should be funded more, I think.
there's that space for the translator, and there definitely needs to be there need to be translators, and that role needs to be filled. However, it is a responsibility for everyone who's a scientist to at least share the passion for the curiosity of why it is they do what
But
they
before
do.
we come to you, Wallace, hang just 1 second. Alicia
Yeah,
actually has
Tuesday, we're
done
done.
research on this in the back.
Yes, I know.
And she's killing herself. She's
Please.
banging her head against the glass back there.
And I've had like 4 points, but I'm just going to say the one I recently came up with. So I've been looking into this with respect to climate scientists, because it's very controversial. And what they found is, so we're talking tons of PhDs, they're all in this small community, and they're trying to communicate this work. The problem is, for every one climate scientist who's actually willing to push their work out there, there's 20 paid people to put false information into the system. And so what they did is they actually created a blog where you can get reliable climate science information. It's still not accessible. So I'm just wondering how you want to go at that when, like, clearly we're not paid to do a lot of communication. And even if you have those people out there who have the hardcore science knowledge, I'm just seeing a lot of resistance from paid advocacy groups from the other side. So I'm wondering what you have to say with that.
So this is a little beyond what we're going to talk about because it's the because it's the intersection of communication and policy,
Yeah.
which is a bit of a different conversation altogether. What I would respond to you as is we're in a process of trailblazing our shaping what our communication is. It's not well formed. Your bosses don't generally allot time or money to go do this work. The only way that's going to change is if we change. If somebody gets out there and does it and creates a model for a sustainable model of this actually working.
Okay, so we'll set the point aside.
Mhm.
The other point that I really wanted to make was the people that I've been exposed to. So I'm doing sociology, bridging research, and when I explain my research, and I have fundamental background in basic science. I took science at university. When I explain my research to scientists, they're often like, "Well, if you don't give me a T table or some stats, then I'm not going to listen to you." So I would encourage everyone, when you meet artists, when you meet musicians, when you meet people doing social science, to really listen to what they're into and their inquiries. Because it's only then that you'll get buy-in from them to listen to you.
Yep. I think that's a
The
very
comedian's
important
had his
point.
hand up for a while though.
I think you just barely touched on this a second ago, Keish, which is I've heard some scientists speaking from in frustration at a previous conference about there's a lot of pressure in academia to publish, but only scientific papers in journals, and that the fact that someone was working on a book for the layperson and they had to almost keep it quiet from their department because it was frowned upon to write something like that for a general audience. Pressure to publish, but discouraged to write for the public.
Yeah, these are issues of the internal scientific community and how the entire process works. I think.
Well, let me ask Brian a question back. How would you like to see it done?
Well,
You're kind of an outsider.
Yeah.
Brian is the science comedian, for those of you who don't know him. So he's not a scientist per se.
Don't work in academia.
Don't work in academia. How would you like to see it?
Well, I think that they brought up a really interesting point that, of course, it's important to publish scholarship, but there's more and more a need to reach the public.
You have an incoming call from Orange Sivan Show.
Hey, hang on. We have a call.
But I think more and more we realize there is a need, and you know what? It feeds directly into funding to express to the general public the importance of the work you're doing.
Yeah, it does feed into funding, and there are several aspects to NSF and NIH grants that actually require a certain amount of science outreach. And so I think that it is starting to feed into the granting system, which will eventually affect affect changes on the entire academic system. I know people like Chris Patil, who's in the back there. You know, he does both the academic work and social media type work. Open.
Twittering right now.
Twittering right now. And he has been able to show the PI he works with the importance of what he's done and how people are really interested in opening up the science community and science communication right now. And so I think it's, you know, there's a young generation of people, a lot of people in this room, who you're at it's a moment in time where the old guard are starting to go out. There are changes that can be implemented, but it's going to be, you know, step-by-step process, and it's going to be a matter of teaching the old guard, you know, the importance of these new tricks.
With that, we're going to have to wrap up.
I know.
And we were remiss in not mentioning a lot of the resources that Kiki was sort of alluding to here. So if you're curious about what is happening right now, and there's a lot of movement, there is a lot of movement in this room. I see people from SEP here who do work in San Francisco Unified Schools for UCSF. UCSF is sponsoring a Bay Area-wide science festival in 2011. There's movement from top down here at UCSF to make changes. And there's some innovative stuff that's happening. So if you're curious about it, if you want to be involved, if you feel like this is part of your responsibility, come talk to us. Mm-hmm. We'll find a way. And
You're running a session on Saturday, right?
I can.
No, I can teach. I'm not
I'll
going to
write
be
something
here,
up.
but-
But
Yeah.
our time is up, so we have to give it back to the old guard.
Yeah. I was going to say, also, if anyone is interested in communicating to the public, I'm interested in interviewing people. So if you've got interesting scientific research or things that you think are really cool that you want to share, please get in touch with me, and you know, I'd like to help you share it with people on my programs. So, thanks.
So one thing which I wanted to add, my prerogative as session chair, is that what we're talking about doing is something that I think the fundamentalists actually do very well, which is you have the pastor or the minister who's the professional who you know promotes the dissemination information, but then it's expected that every member of the church will go out and evangelize. That's the whole point of being evangelical. And that's encouraged, and that has a huge effect because you have 100,000 people who are all sort of constantly saying to their neighbors, hey, you know, what about this, what about that? And so if we all did a little bit of that, it would actually have a huge effect. Another standard tactic of the evangelical movement is to use guitars to reach out to people. And along those lines, we're very fortunate to have Uri Alon with us today, who's given a lot of thought to the kinds of issues we're discussing, and also about how to employ guitars. So he is on Skype from the Weizmann, and we're glad to have him here. And from Harvard, actually. Okay, and so it's not as far, but it's still far. He's getting the lights all set.
I can't see you.
Can you see anyone?
No, I can't see.
Should we turn this around so we can see the audience?
Yeah, that's it.
Let's see what we get. We're going to try to turn the computer to face the audience.
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay.
Oh, you need to click your camera.
I can't see. It just looks like a
I don't see.
black screen.
I don't even see a camera icon. Wait.
It's not in the hand.
Oh, he has to do it.
What do I need to do?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Oh,
Oh, here we are. Okay. All right. Now so now we're going to see if we can rotate this to face the audience without pulling all the plugs out.
Oh man, that's bad.
What do you think? We need a lab jacket. Is what we need.
wow, looks good.
Sweatshirt and just set it on top of the.
But just a little lower, you can just see the tops of their head.
Yeah. Well, we can do that.
Hi, everyone.
Is that working?
Is this UCSF? Hi. Can you hear me? Yes. Good. Let's start by all together taking a nice deep sigh of relief. I'd like to talk for about 30 minutes, talk, sing, and discuss, and tell you about a movement called Nurturing Scientists that, just like you, wants to make science a better place. But we'll start by trying to attempt, first time ever, singing with you as backup singers across from Skype. All right? So I'm going to sing to you your part. So this is a song about being scooped. It's called Scooped Again. And it's a blues song. And your part will be just the word scoop. It will be scoop, scoop. I'm going to show you. It'll go like this. I've been scooped. I've been scooped again. And then you go scoop, scoop. I've been scooped again. Scoop, scoop. All right? Let's try it. I'm going to try it. And we'll see if you can go scoop, scoop. I've been scooped again. Scoop, scoop. I've been scooped again. Scoop, scoop. I've been scooped again. Scoop, scoop. Scooped again. Scoop, scoop. Oh, Mama, can't you hear the pain? Heavens help me, I've been scooped again. Great. Beautiful. I can't believe it, across Skype. All right. I'm in the Libler lab. Check out what's on the slab. I'm running gel after gel. It makes my life a real hell. I'm a receptor wizard. I'm a ligand lizard. Wrote this great new paper. Gonna send it to nature. I went down to the library. This was 1999 and there were still libraries then. Just to check out them journals of February. I've been scooped again. Scoop, scoop. 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 Oh, Daddy, can't you feel the pain? Heavens help me, I've been scooped again. Every flagella, yeah, I knew it real well. I could talk to the fella, 'cause I speak salmonella. Every mini prep got my full attention. Oh, to publish first, that was my intention. I went down to the library, just to check out the journals of February. I've been scooped again. I've been scooped again. I've been scooped again. I've been scooped again. Oh, Mama, can't you feel the pain? Heavens help me, I've been scooped again. On the lights in the room. I want to ask you, where does this song meet your life? Feel free to raise your hand. Yeah, let's hear some. For instance, we've been scooped 2 months ago on a paper on negative autoregulation. So, how many people have ever been scooped? 1 or 2. And what's it like? I see someone in the back going like this. What does it feel like?
So actually, I was going to say that I've thought that I've been scooped quite a lot of times, but I've never really been scooped. And so that was my experience of scooping.
Right. It's very rare, but it's also very frightening. And so we can ask, what do we do with the emotions? What happens when we're scooped? Or why is there scooping in science? I'm not going to answer those questions. This is just, something to think about. I know you've been discussing things like that. And I use this song to start. And I'm going to make just a few simple points. The first point is that, as you know, science has a very specific culture. And in this culture, we don't talk about emotional and interpersonal things in conferences, whenever we're taught, etc. And of course, I felt that just like any scientist. For example, 10 years ago, when I started my lab at Weizmann, I walked in, I was desperate to succeed. I walked into the white room, empty room. How many of you can hear me, by the way, properly? Raise your hand. Oh, good. And it was terrifying. The walls kind of closed in on me. I just felt terrified because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to hire students, how to mentor them, how to choose scientific problems. I've never been taught that. I've taught thousands of hours of physics, biology, chemistry, but not 1 hour about the things that really matter, the personal stuff. And I really had a few very desperate years. What really helped me was that I had a parallel career in theater, improvisation theater, aimed at social change, where the premise is to take care of everyone, actors, the audience. And so I could use communication skills I learned there in my lab. For example, when a student came and said, Uri, I need a vacation, a month vacation, so desperate for this project. But I chose on the side of vacation. And when he came back, he was super motivated. This project raced forward. So making choices in order to benefit and nurture the student created kind of an atmosphere of great motivation. Or in my lab meeting, instead of just doing science, we socialized. We do birthdays, bring some wine, cake, and I tell people when they collaborate, they help each other. Working on each other's projects, holding the same thing.
Okay, Uri, we're gonna have to quickly fix the sound because the sound just did something strange. It might be that there's a problem with feedback from your microphone and your computer.
You hear me now? Yeah. Where did I stop? What was the part you heard?
Vacation.
Group meeting?
1 month vacation.
Vacation. So vacation, I said, by going with what's best for the students, you end up, of course, empowering them to be more motivated. So a lot of advisors tell me, this graduate student isn't motivated. And I say, what are you doing to make them lose their intrinsic motivation? The idea is to nurture people's motivation, which means their autonomy, their competence, and their social connectedness. So I know from experience that since the beginning, good human relations and communication skills is essential for the science we do. And our lab spiraled and positive kind of cycle. And now, after 10 years, the research we did is considered like the foundation of this new field, systems biology. And there's a lot of wonder at how a lab can do that in Israel. But it's basically fundamentally letting people follow their internal voice and the projects they choose, and good human relations. So in my opinion, it's part of science. Now, why wasn't I taught about that? Why doesn't everybody know that? It's not a secret. Other disciplines study communication skills, study motivation in psychology, education, social work, nursing. It's the bread and butter. But in science, we ignore that kind of knowledge, and it's actually very interesting why. There's a reason why sociologists like Evelyn Fox Keller figured it out. It's called the mythology of science. Our scientific culture has a mythology that scientists are objective and rational, like the knowledge we want to get. But when you call somebody objective and rational, you automatically discount the subjective and emotional. It's not science. And even it's threatening to science. But we know as scientists that it's a whole human being doing science. Rational, objective, and also subjective and emotional. Aspects of subjective and emotional